In this video, I'll be talking with Alex, who's one of my students, who is on track to make over $7,000 this month from his own Amazon KDP business. And he has an interesting strategy of publishing public domain books. So in this video, we're going to be discussing his strategies and what we can learn from it. Now, inside of my publishing program, you actually get a lot more of these interviews as a bonus. So if you guys want to check it out and join the program, then check out the first link in the description below. With that being said, enjoy the video. All right, guys, welcome to another Publishing Success case study interview. Today we got Alex or Alexander. Can I call you Alex?
Yeah, Alex is cool.
All right, cool. Well, Alex, thanks for coming on the call here. So, how long have you been publishing so far?
Seriously, for about 2 years.
2 years. Okay.
Yeah,
I remember you joined Road to Hero around 2 years ago too, right?
yeah.
Yeah. Did you
So
start in publishing and then join the course, or?
yeah, kinda. So
Yeah.
I first published my, well, if you want to call it a book, back in 2017. That's when I first did anything just to see how it worked. And then I kind of like self-authored a couple short stories, but I didn't know what I was doing. I just kind of uploaded them and forgot about them and just never touched KDP again. But I would
Yeah.
always get like those little random royalties every now and again.
Yeah.
And one of your videos that popped up in my algorithm when I was working in Qatar, like the one of the first things you said was people come back because they get those random royalties, and I was like, all right, well, I'm just gonna buy the course. Like there's no coincidences out here. Like whatever's going through my mind, you just said it, and then this somehow popped back up in my algorithm. I'm just gonna buy the course and take it serious. So now here I am.
That's how you started. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like a pretty common story, right? Like you hear it and you see it in the course over and over. Like when people introduce themselves in the course, they always say like, I actually published a book a couple of years ago. I quit publishing for whatever reason, but I kept getting paid from the book. So now I'm back like doing this seriously. Like you see it all the time. But glad that you came back and now you're doing really well. How much are you making right now from your publishing business?
this month, well, hold on, I'll tell you. This month, right now, I'm at 4.3K revenue.
Yep.
The highest month I've ever had was close to 9, but that was like peak Q4 when I just started a new brand. So that was like kind of, I was like, whoa, I didn't, yeah. But
Yeah.
now that I have many more of these good books versus what I was doing year one, because year one was like kind of I wasn't taking it too serious. But now, yeah, things are way different. So I've been launching new books for like the since April. So I haven't even touched really any profit yet. It's just been nonstop, either profit a couple hundred or break even or even go red, just because I'm launching all these new books.
Yeah.
But I'm expecting that to be very different in the next month, because this month I'm going to be done launching books for a little bit just to kind of chill and make sure everything looks good and then get ready for Q4.
So you basically have 4.3K revenue, and you could take profit if you don't publish new books. You basically just reinvest it because you want to increase that
Yeah.
monthly revenue, right?
Yeah.
If you don't make any new books, how much do you think the profit will be if you're just counting like ads?
If I, if no new books right now, how much would profit be? I don't
Like you
know.
don't
Maybe
invest into production, basically.
mm, if everything stayed the same as it is right now, I'd probably be profiting, I would guess, maybe 2 to 3K. If everything just based on what I have right now, like the past 2 weeks of average revenue, I think I'd be profiting somewhere between 2 to 3K if I just
Yeah.
stopped.
Yeah, seems about right. Like typically like 30-50% is towards ads. And the rest you can take profit if you're happy with where you're at, or you just keep reinvesting, right, into making new books and growing your kind of baseline from there. So, um, did you have any business background or maybe like a career that's related to digital marketing before doing this?
Nah, I've worked in IT. Can't you tell by the tattoos on my hands? I'm an IT guy, man.
So is this your first business then?
The first one I've ever taken serious, yeah.
Gotcha.
I've like tried like start and stopped maybe 4 or 5 different times back
Yeah.
in 2017, 2018, and I think a little bit 2019. I would just not, I don't know. It's kind of like I would get the creative thrill out of the like I get something from creating. Something makes me feel good. So I would create a brand, like create all the social medias, but I would never like push the product kind of thing. I would just kind of give up, just get bored.
Um, so you're doing 4.3K revenue around there, right?
Yeah.
How many books do you have at the moment?
I think 28.
20 books. And
Yeah.
and are you doing mainly like low content, medium content, high content?
Uh, like all high content. I've got one coloring book that I kind of did as like a test, but I mean, I don't like that. I don't like coloring books. So I probably I might go back and try to do something with that, but probably not.
What 90% of people who watch my videos, right? Because obviously the course recommends high content, but on the YouTube side, the viewers 90% of the time do low content because it's cheaper,
Yeah.
quicker, you know. And then out of like 90% of the people who doing low content, I would say another 90% of that is doing coloring books. So like, why didn't you like coloring books?
They just seem dumb. Yeah, like they just I don't get why people do them, kind of thing. Because with the same budget, because they do that because it's cheaper, but you can also make a high content book just as cheap. But I don't know if many people know about it because I've never heard many people talking about at least what I've started doing. So, I mean, I could give all the secrets right now, but public domain books, you can make a public domain book for just as cheap as you can make a coloring book, and it's high content. And if you do good research, like the hardcover sells well and the paperback. So my most recent book that I published, both sides are taking off, and it cost me just $200 for the cover.
So
Everything else I did myself.
this
Yeah,
is the public domain book.
yeah,
Yeah.
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 So you know,
Do
I
you
think people should do that if they don't have money to like create their own idea. Public domain is a real thing. Literally, more or less copy and paste, and then you have to differentiate your book from the original work, but you have to have the original work in there word for word. So it costs you nothing to copy and paste.
Yeah, I think Kindlepreneur recently came up with a video on how to properly publish public domain works, right, or books, right?
Yeah,
And that is that you have to obviously edit the content to make it unique. Like it could be your commentary on the original work, or it could be your twist. Like what would happen if, you know, eh, they did this instead of the original story, they did this kind of thing.
yeah,
Um, if you know how to do it, then yeah, it's like a great way of producing the book.
yeah.
Um, that's cool that you do that. Was that your first book doing public domain, or do you always like pretty much your strategy is hitting up public domain books?
I mean, my strategy right now is hitting up public domain books just because you can do it so fast. If I mean, if you want to make something good, it takes a little bit more time with the editing, and then like if you want to add illustrations, which I like to do,
Yeah.
but you can just do it so fast. And this is all I have, so my day can just I finished 3 books in the past 2 days. So now I'm just waiting on cover designs. But initially it was building a like finding a good keyword and like building a brand, kind of like I guess the normal thing to do versus public domain. But now I see the power of public domain. So yeah.
Because like public domain books, the book title is a keyword in itself. Right? People
Yeah.
literally search for the book title. So that's a keyword, and you just have to have an attractive twist to whatever the book is, right? So people pick yours over
Yeah.
others.
Yeah.
Um, I never done a public domain, so I'm kind of curious. Are there a lot of people doing it? Like, do you have a lot of competition, or what's it like?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll say yeah, for like my best selling book, yeah, it's pretty competitive, but I mean that thing is sitting at like a 6K BSR, and I'm not running ads super hard. Like I mean I am, like I'm accidentally overspending every day since the book release, but I'm not trying to do that. Like I have to keep lowering the thing. It just, yeah,
Yeah. 6K
it's
being
that's
deductible.
fire.
You'll do a lot more than 4.3K if that book continues like this, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like it I mean, I don't really believe that this is happening kind of thing. I'm like, why is it doing this? Because like how we're taught to launch in the beginning is just like, a lower price to try to entice people to get more or like make more sales. And I did that for the first maybe almost a full week. And I was like, my book cover just looks amazing. So let me jump this price up to $21. And then I was like, oh, this is selling well. I'm going to go up again because my book just does look amazing. So it's like 6K BSR, but like I'm getting that crisp $8 royalty. And that's just from a hardcover. The paperback's doing okay. It's not the same, but it's like 30K BSR with around a $7 to $8 royalty somewhere in there. So I mean, if your book looks premium, charge the premium price.
$8 for a hardcover is like pretty intense. And it's interesting that the hardcover is selling more than the paperback, but I guess it's just a niche, huh? Like
Yeah,
hardcover,
exactly.
yeah, hardcover typically people see it as a more premium product. So if you're in a premium niche, then makes sense. Maybe it's like a collector's item kind of niche because it's a public domain. People want to collect it.
Hey man, you're saying
I,
everything.
uh,
Kinda, yeah. Like, yeah, yeah.
want to reveal your niche or anything. I'll stop guessing. But so basically, it's interesting because at the in the course at the moment we don't teach public domain. Now that you're kind of like mentioning this, it's really interesting. I kind of want to go and test it, but I never really published public domain myself. I teach high content. Kind of going back to like what we talked about. Most people are doing low content. If you do what everybody else is doing, you're competing with everybody else, right? But if you're willing to do something a little bit harder, going into high content, you're competing with only the few people that are doing that. The profit margin is way better. It's not actually not that hard to make if you know what you're doing. That's the whole strategy we got. And obviously, we want to focus on quality content. You publish like 3 books in a couple days, but I'm sure you're focusing on quality because you've been through the course and
Oh yeah.
whatnot. Um, do you use AI at all to edit those books?
Oh, of course. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Like if you want to do it yourself and you're not a writer, I highly recommend AI. And then if you just don't have the aptitude, then outsource whatever the AI. Try to make the AI thing look really good, and then find some editor to make it not suck.
Yeah.
That's that's what I would recommend. But I think I do a good job at editing, at least right now. If I start getting a bunch of bad reviews, then we gotta overhaul the manuscript real fast.
Yeah. But for now, like you're getting good reviews, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. So that's the main thing. It must be good. So you started, so actually when you joined Royalty Hero, how much were you making?
nothing. I was making nothing. Maybe I think over the course of however many years from just those random royalties, maybe $11. Like I just didn't start publishing anything seriously until I bought your course.
What is like the key lessons that you learned in the program that you think helped, kind of like grow your business?
How to do keyword research, and yeah, I think that's the biggest thing. Or like, well, that and the cover, but definitely find a good keyword first.
Yeah, because your public domain book is basically the cover's doing all the selling, right?
Oh yes, oh my God, yes, that cover is amazing.
And the cover is the only one that you outsourced, correct? You didn't make it yourself.
Yeah, correct.
Which site did you use to outsource?
99 designs.
Okay, so pretty much like what we teach. Did you run a contest or do you just have someone there?
No, I ran a contest the first time I used 99 designs, but I was like, why am I running a contest? I don't know. I just started messaging, copy and paste the same message to a bunch of designers. And it took 2 years for me to find this guy, but boy, I'm glad I found this guy. This guy's pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, 99 Designs has like full really good designers. And yeah, skipping the contest is actually cheaper too. I got mine for $115 and she's amazing as well. So you said you paid 200 bucks for your guy?
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, do you have any tips on designing a really good cover?
You gotta see what's selling. I guess I mean this is like the basic things. Like find the best sellers and just try to if your designer's good, he or she can look at all of those and just see the good elements. Because I'm too dumb to know. So I just send the guy a list, like Amazon links of what's selling well, and then that's kind of it.
Yeah, pretty
We just go
much
from there.
your competition and then you're like make something better than these ones kind of thing.
Exactly. And you usually like I don't have the kind of brain that can just know what looks good right away. So usually he just sends over maybe like five different like rough drafts, but like very bare bones. And then it kind of clicks. If it doesn't click for me the first day, like the second day when I have that first sip of coffee, it clicks. I'm like, we need to go in this direction, do this, and then we're done in like a day.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Do you do you try to like differentiate the design? Do you like copy the ones that are working or like your best-selling competition and then you create something similar, or do you try to go the complete opposite direction in terms of design?
Uh, with my successes, I'd say similar, but just better. In a way, I don't know. Try not
Yeah.
to say too much, but I mean, yes, similar but better. And this guy took the best-selling book, literally the best-selling book cover, and just made it look so much. I don't words can't describe how good this cover looks. It looks really good, and it like he said, "Oh, I just recreated the best-selling book cover, but mine looks way better." And I'm like, "Yeah, it does." But so whenever I hit 1,000 reviews, putting that guy out of business.
Is that what you so your number one competition has 1,000 reviews right now?
I mean, thousands. It's probably like 7,000 or something. It's like his book's old,
Yeah,
but
because it's public domain, it makes sense.
yeah,
And yours got how much?
I'm only at 31. This book's pretty new. It's not even a month old yet.
And you got 6K BSR.
Yeah.
What's your number one competitor at?
Uh, and there's because there's so many, it's hard to say that one of them is like the number one competitor because everyone, since it's public domain, we're all selling basically the same thing. It's just a matter of do you want, can I convince you that my twist is better than their twist? That's kind of the fight. So pretty much everyone is at the same level of competition if their cover looks decent, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
But what I mean is like, what is the BSR of the best-selling book in that
Oh,
space?
I mean, I'll look right now.
Yeah. I'm just curious because that is a potential, right? Like your number one competitor BSR is the potential for you to achieve as well. So like you're at 6K right now. I'm just curious how low you can bring it down, especially as you gather more reviews and get closer to your competition.
This guy with almost 8,000 reviews is at 1K BSR. So
Gotcha.
we're getting there.
Yeah, 1K BSR is solid. That alone is making like thousands a month, 10K. No, way more than 10K, I think. I gotta do the math here.
Yeah, and it's in a lot of these older books, it seems like people just give up on them. They don't give up, but I don't know. It seems like they just kind of they set it and forget it. I see that a lot with older published books. So I'm like, why is your book price so low? Is there even a person managing this, or is this just sitting on Amazon collecting money, going nowhere?
Yeah,
So yeah.
I agree. I think most people they just make this. So this is the thing. Like, you know how in my YouTube series I do this book review series where I review subscribers' books. And literally 99% of the people, they just make the exact same books, whip up the cover on Canva, just AI interiors and everything, right? Usually they do coloring books. And then they try to compete, they make the same thing. So everybody has the same product. And then they just compete with price, meaning they just like their value proposition is, hey, I got the exact same book as everybody else, but mine is like $1 cheaper, And then maybe that'll work
Yeah,
a little. And
I get
then
that.
somebody else will come in and like, okay, well, I got the same thing, but mine is even $1 cheaper than that one, and everybody's just pricing lower and lower and lower, racing to the bottom, and nobody wins because you have zero royalties, right?
Yeah,
Instead, you should take the opposite approach, which is what you're doing. You create
yeah,
something better, and then you price it higher than everybody else, which means you got to understand your audience and create an actually good product. But if you can do that, you pretty much dominate, like what you're doing right now. So yeah, it's really interesting how most people take that approach. Um, but anyways, do you have any other books that are doing well, or is this like pretty much the heavy hitter?
this is by far the heaviest hitter, but before this, I was building a new brand because Charlie told me that I sucked. And he told me to start over. And that was back in October. So now, almost a year later, I built a new brand and I got a couple books that are selling well in that brand. Like the bestseller from there is kind of bounces. It'll be between 10K BSR and maybe like 25.
Okay, that's really
Yeah.
good.
And
Yeah,
then anywhere between like 30 and 50, a couple other books will just bounce around.
I think I remember your post in the Facebook group, where you said, "Thanks, Charlie, for telling me how much I suck,"
Yeah.
and
That's
made
what I
me
need
think,
to hear, man. Tell me I suck so I can improve. Tell me I'm fat so I go to the gym. I need to be you gotta demoralize me to get results.
yeah, for sure. We're super direct. Charlie's a super direct guy, but amazing coach for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those books, are you still gonna build those brands, or are you mainly focusing on public domain?
That particular brand, I don't have any more plans. I just released a bundle. I might come up with an idea of a new bundle. I've got like a list of 6 books like in the queue for me to create, but I don't really have any more planned for that brand at all. Maybe one, but I think I kind of did enough for that one.
Yeah, it makes sense though. Like if you have a book that's 6K BSR, you you kind of have to build that, right? It's like it's illegal to not build that, so you
Yeah.
have to build a brand around that. So is that your plan moving forward, is just going deep in the public domain niche?
Kind of, yeah. I mean, different niches, but I, dude, this it's like if I tell you everything, oh my god, like
Yeah.
I will sit here for hours and just click around. I'll have YouTube playing over there, and then because this is stuff I'm publishing things that I'm interested in, so a YouTube video will be talking about something similar to what I'm interested in, and then I just look it up on Amazon, and then I'll just add it to the list, and then I just kept doing that, and then I find the ones that are like really fruitful and then prioritize those.
Yeah. If you know what you're looking for, it's like endless ideas to produce books, right? Especially for
Yeah.
you, because you're working with public domain, but you can add unlimited twists to the same story. So it's just like really, really endless ways of producing books. There are new niches that constantly pops up too. So
Yeah.
yeah, so it's really cool, man. Just DM me your book and the keyword later on, and I'll, nah,
I mean, I will for a price.
yeah, um, yeah, that's really, really cool. So 6K BSR, like how much are for this month, how much revenue are you like on track to make then?
Probably ballpark a little over 7K, my guess, per that little app. I forgot the name of it, but yeah,
Each month?
yeah, that's it.
And next month probably will be higher, right? Because this book started popping up. like mid-month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next month will be higher because my new public domain books will be live.
Yeah.
And I don't need many reviews for those as long as the cover looks good. Honestly, for any book, you don't need many reviews. As long as it looks like something that's real, it sells immediately, in my experience. So you'll know if it sucks or not right away. For me, that's what I've seen.
Yeah, I agree. And like it's we talked about public domain mainly because it's an interesting angle that you're hitting, but essentially you're just hitting uh a keyword, just like anything else.
Yeah.
Um, that you just have a really good cover to stand out, and that is pretty much it. Like you can do it in any keyword out there. It doesn't have to be public domain, right?
Yeah.
It just happens to be a public domain book where you have the baseline content that you can edit, so the production cost is very low, but you can essentially apply the same thing in literally any keyword where you can just write the book with AI baseline and then you just edit it from there to make it good, which we teach. Um, or use a ghostwriter or whatever method, right? So the book cover, I do agree that it's like 90% of the selling is done. And most people, they use Canva for book covers that you definitely don't want to do, especially if you want to make big money like that. So what do you think is like, I don't know how much you're making right now, like per day, but if you take that into next month for the whole month, like how much do you think you'll make if the
10K.
10K?
Yeah.
Nice.
So
Okay.
sure. In
Yeah.
Q4, I plan to make 20. And that's like a low. I think it might be higher, but I've been planning for 20 since last year.
Yeah. I think you can do 20 easy. If you're gonna do 10K like normal months
Yeah.
in Q, yeah. Is the book kind of like a gift type book? Or
It could be, but I mean, it just, oh, dude, this is, we're walking on thin ice here. I might just
yeah.
tell you everything, tell you everything for the world to hear. I mean, it could be a gift. It could be.
Every book can be a gift though, for
Yeah,
those who
yeah, yeah.
right. Okay. I'll stop trying to reveal the niche here.
I mean,
Going
if I had another cup of coffee, I might be crazy enough to say it.
But I do think like most big keywords people already know. Like I think a lot of people already know your public domain niche. It's not really like, and I have a new video coming up on YouTube too, but I talk about how it's not about like being the first in a niche. It's about being the best, right? Because like you're not the first in this keyword that you're in. There's
Yeah,
a guy, there's somebody with a 7,000 reviews, like book that has 7,000 reviews, and yet you came in and you're selling really, really well. That's because you just have a really good cover and a really good product. So I don't think like the competition matters too much just because you can just, the main thing is if you got a good book, right? People can't compete with you. So
yeah.
going back to the questions here, the list of questions that we had, do you have any aha moment or kind of like turning point in your business that you want to share?
Uh, I mean, that one coaching call with Charlie was kind of it. I mean, that it just kind of things just fell into place after that. When he said, "You suck. Your book covers suck. Your keywords. You didn't do any research. You suck." So yeah, that's kind of it. He's like, "Go back, make sure you understand keyword research, and just start over because this is going nowhere." So I was like, "All right, that's what I did."
I love that, man. I love hearing that. Um, Charlie's by far like the biggest asset in the program. Like I think he's a better coach than me. So it's super nice that everybody loves him and he's creating a lot of success stories like that.
Yeah.
All right. What are the kind of similar question, but like the biggest lessons or tips that you've learned that help grow your KDP business?
I mean, aside from knowing that your keyword is good, I'd say definitely don't try to catch a falling knife. Like if your book sucks, stop. Stop caring about it and figure out why it sucks and then take that lesson or lessons to the next book, and then that suck book is now a side project. You need to focus on something else that doesn't suck. So yeah, I think that's the biggest thing because I spent a year just playing with knives. Just my hands are just all cut up. I got so many scars right now from playing with those knives. But now we're doing better. So lesson learned.
Yeah, that's a good tip. And like, how are so like you got some books that didn't go well, but it's still it must still make some sales, right? Like maybe a little bit, but you just let it on the side, let it sit on the side, passively make some sales. Are those books making a okay amount? Like
So
for the
yeah,
yeah.
I think they're making an okay amount given that I'm not really putting any budget towards them. It's more like gold panning campaigns, just like super cheap campaigns for all of those, and you know, they're doing okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I noticed the same thing because I published a lot of books too, right? And typically, like the ones that fail, because I don't have 100% success rate either, basically just forget about it. I move on. But those books still sell something. And like, basically the more books I publish, as long as I focus on publishing it in a good keyword that people actually search for, do my best to produce a high quality book, get some reviews so it's not like set it and forget it. A lot of people do set it and forget, and that doesn't work if you have zero reviews and your book sucks. But I feel like if you actually go through the launch initially, try your best to rank it, get some reviews, and then even after that it doesn't work, then you kind of move on from it. It has a like the book still keeps a little bit of momentum and kind of sells. So like the more books you publish, I notice my baseline revenue keeps going up, right? Like to the point where even if I do nothing, no ads, nothing, I'm making like solid 5K literally just from the amount of books, that I have. And obviously if you run
My
ads, yeah.
God.
So
That's a lot of terrible books to be making 5K.
yeah.
My
Well,
God.
with my last account, the first
Oh
one, right?
yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's with this one, the new one. But like the last one, um, it was like even better, man. So with my first account, um, from outside KDP, like literally not even including KDP, I had like 5K a month, just from Draft to Digital, Ingram Spark, other alternative channels that you can sell your books to, that we teach. And it's like it's super steady, like even steadier than KDP. There's zero ads, right? So it was like doing 5K every single month, doing nothing, right? Like I'm not doing nothing. So I think you don't want to spam books, and that's like people will take this and they're like, okay, let me spam out a lot of books, but that's not what you want to do, and that's not what I did, right? Like you want to produce high quality books, but if it doesn't do well, you just kind of let it sit and upload to those channels and slowly stack up those steady passive income, I think.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, what is your biggest advice for those who are just getting started? If somebody's
Uh,
like at zero right now.
if they're at zero and they're interested in KDP, I would say skip low and medium content books, unless that's what you really want to do. I'd say just skip it because I just don't understand it. I don't get why people do it.
But they're gonna be like, but low and medium content books is easy and it's cheap. High
Yeah.
content is expensive.
Yeah. Well, let me introduce you to my friend Public Domain. So, like, yeah, it's ever since I found out about Public Domain, it's like, I now have no clue why people do medium and low con. I didn't know before because it seems like there's no money in it unless you hit it big and like really build a brand and like really, it just requires more effort, is what it looks like. I don't understand why people would do that when you can just have one good high content book that sells way more the next day, literally.
Yeah. Another thing about low content or medium content is that like every single book type is different. The way you make it is different. Like the way you make word search is different. The way you make calling book is different. And if you hop around, you're literally learning a whole new, it's like learning a new business model every single time.
Yeah.
So it gets really confusing and time consuming, I think. So like, how's life now that, you're doing good? You're doing this full time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
Uh,
yeah.
I mean, it's kind of the same. Like I've never I just left the 9 to 5 world without anything. I just had money in the bank account and like some investments that I eventually sold. So I've just been living the same way for the past 2 years. Whether this was going to work or not, I was like, screw it. Like, I'm just break free of the golden handcuffs, and I'll figure it out eventually. So just
Yeah.
regular normal stuff. Nothing crazy.
Yeah. Um, what's funny is for those who are watching, I'm in Bangkok right now, and I asked Alex where he's at, and he said Bangkok. So we're actually neighbors. But have you traveled to other countries, or were you mainly just in Thailand?
Mainly Thailand, but I've been to Cambodia, Philippines. I think that's it in Southeast Asia. But I've been around. My old job took me to a lot of different places: Korea, Kuwait, Qatar, Afghanistan. So
Damn.
yeah, it's a
Uh,
very good and easy life if that's what you're into, doing IT. But not for me.
what's uh what's your favorite country to live as a nomad?
Oh, I think right now it's probably Thailand. It's still very cheap, but it's at the same time very modern. That makes sense. Like I can order things through Lazada, like you know, order all the fried chicken. It's like America, but way cheaper, and obviously it's different culture and whatnot. But like Cambodia is not quite there. Cambodia is cheaper, and I like Cambodia, and I would probably prefer to live there. But Thailand just it has more to offer. Like just Lazada alone is enough to make me want to stay. Just sounds dumb, but I like being able to order something and have it come in a couple days. Can't
Yeah.
really do that in Cambodia, at least
Yeah.
not that I'm aware of.
I get it though. Thailand's super convenient. Like everything is just, well, it depends on where you live, but like most places, everything is literally like 10 minutes away. Like I live here in Bangkok. Personally, I like Chiang Mai better, but even in Chiang Mai, it's like you can walk to the gym 10 minutes, the grocery store 10 minutes drive, or you can just order it. You can order everything, right? So it's like it saves so much time. And if you just want to work, like you can just work.
Yeah.
What makes you want to go to Cambodia though? Like,
It's like the double-edged sword kind of thing. It's like because it's not as up to date with things, I like that. I like that it's still early, but I don't like that I can't order things from Lazada. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like I can have the life that I want quicker and easier in Cambodia. Visa requirements, super easy. You just pay money and then they just forward some documents. So that's cool. Literally don't. It's just everything's much easier in Cambodia
yeah.
to live and stay a long time than it is Thailand, in my opinion.
I heard that you can start a business over there and you can have 100% ownership,
Maybe I don't know. I haven't looked into that yet.
but it's an offline business, obviously. They do that because they want to increase the local economy.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, very interesting. I've also traveled mainly Southeast Asia. I want to check out Latin America. I watched this video recently on YouTube on like the top 10 countries people prefer to live, like expats. And it's basically Asia or Latin America. And the top 10 worst country was, or top 10 worst countries that people didn't enjoy living in was like Europe, Europe and like basically first world countries, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, kind of understand. Um, but yeah, man. So final question, or I guess two more. What's your plan from here, like with your KDP business? Do you have plans on selling in the future, or do you just kind of want to keep building? Any plans? Let me know.
Uh, I gave myself a 5 year exit when I first started. Like no matter how good or bad it was going, but now that it's like going better, I don't know. We'll see when the 5 year mark comes if I still want to just get rid of it and either start new or try something else. I don't know. But right now, 5 year exit. So keep building until then.
Yeah, because if you're doing, let's say like by Q4 you hit 20K a month, right? And then from there, you keep publishing, keep building it. And let's say your average profit is like 10K conservatively a month, then you can probably sell that for 400,000, um, which is cool. You can definitely do more, you know. So I think the 5 year exit, that's still like 3 more years, right?
Yeah. So you're
Yeah.
trying to say it's too early. I should give it more time and really stack up.
Don't you think so? I mean, you've seen what others do in the course, like other students, they're pulling a lot more, you know. So
Yeah.
it's
I don't know.
possible.
Yeah, well, I'll probably, I mean, because I said I would reevaluate it, I already know that means I'm not going to set that 5 years, especially when you just said that. 'Cause, you know, I'll listen to the guy that knows more.
Yeah, I think the thing with KDP, like I kind of regret selling my first KDP account because it's still doing the same amount. Like it's not building up because the last guy or the guy that bought it didn't really do anything, you know? He's just kind of letting it sell. But it's still making the same amount, which is crazy. It's like 3 years since I sold it. Um, doing like 40K a month passive for 3 years straight. And at this point, I shouldn't have sold it because I would have just kept making that, right? It's fine because you can rebuild it, but so it depends on what you want. If you want the cash flow ahead, or if you, I'm sorry, if you want the ongoing cash flow, or if you just want like upfront cash kind of thing.
I'm just trying to keep myself excited. I like building, so I'd be okay with starting over, kind of thing, just to see, ooh, can I do it better, quicker? You know, did I really learn anything here? Kind of thing. Try it all over again.
Makes sense. Um, do you have any other tips you want to cover before we end this call?
I think that's kind of it. I mean, just skip low and medium content, and you know, save up for that one high content book. You know, that's my biggest tip.
Pretty much like I think 80% of my viewers are doing low and medium content.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's something to think about for sure. And there's a lot of like cool tips that we covered, I think, with public domain, how to apply that. I think you can apply the concept to low and medium content too, because it's basically like it's not the public domain that's the secret. It's basically just producing a high quality book, getting a really good cover. Don't try to make your cover on Canva if you want to make thousands. Like if you want to make $5 a month or $10 a month, you can definitely whip up a cover on Canva and then test it out. But eventually you want to reinvest into your business. Like Alex is doing, right? He can take profit out of it, but he's basically reinvesting everything. So that's the biggest takeaway, I think. But yeah, man. So thank you so much for the talk. Super good information, and it was fun. And yeah, we'll end the call here. For those, if you're watching this on YouTube, if you want to check out the course, the link is in the description. But for now, thanks for watching, and see you next time. Bye.